Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you Hussain for requesting this topic on principles of organization. Again, one of those topics which is very important for the students who are preparing for any kind of competitive exams like UGC NET, UPSC, कॉमर्स वाले स्टूडेंट्स जिनके पास सब्जेक्ट है ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल थ्योरी के नाम से, वहां पे ये टॉपिक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो इस टॉपिक को जरूर से समझें कि ये टॉपिक क्या कहता है. लेट्स बिगिन. और हाँ, इसका PDF हम कैसे डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, आई विल बी एक्सप्लेनिंग ऑल द थिंग्स एट द एंड ऑफ दिस वीडियो. सो लेट्स बिगिन. So the first principle of the organization is called as principle of objective. So what do you mean by principle of objective? The enterprise must have a common goal which must be followed by each and every department as well as by the people working in the organization. That means every organization has a common goal. There is a goal which is common in the organization, which is followed by each and every department and followed by each and every employee working in that particular organization. And that is one of the biggest principle and one of the most important principle of the organization is. Second important thing, that means that no organization can be without goals. That's the first thing. Second important, in the absence of a common aim, that means if the goal is not there, then what will happen? Various departments will end up their own goals and there is a possibility of conflicting objectives of the different departments. So there must be an objective of the organization. That means if the goal is not there, that means if the goal is missing, then what will happen? Every department in the organization will create its own goal. Marketing will have its common goal, finance will have its own goal, human resource will get its own goal, production will have its own goal, and that will create a very lot of chaos in the organization. So it is very important that everybody, every department should work for a common goal, and that's the first principle. The second principle is called as principle of specialization. So this means that the organization must set up in such a way that every individual should be assigned a duty according to his skill and qualification. That means whenever we hire anyone, we always take into consideration that what is the skill of that particular person, what is the specialization of a person. That means a bird which can fly, you cannot ask them to sit, and a bird which can sit, you cannot ask them to fly, right? So it is very important that you always take into consideration the specialization of that particular person and their skill sets and then assign them jobs. That's another important principle. All these principles are important. Why? Because we want to make our organization very productive and very effective also. Another important thing is the person should continue to work in the same department, same work and specialize in his work, and this helps in increasing the production in the concern. That means the logic here is if the same person will keep on doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again, obviously his specialization will increase, his work specialization will increase, and that will leads to productivity. Although what I believe that this principle has changed over a period of time, because now in organization what happens is that organizations ask people to work in different departments, work on different jobs. There is job rotations. Why? Because we want people to be multitasking rather than getting into work specialization. So I believe that this particular principle has little bit changed over a period of time. Third principle is called as the principle of coordination. We all know what coordination means. That means इकट्ठे होके काम करना. अब coordination का मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है? That it is not a function of management but it is an essence of management. ये पहले भी मैंने काफी बार पढ़ाया है कि management के functions में we have planning, we have organizing, we have staffing, we have directing, we have controlling. These all are functions, but all are these connected with a essence, and that is called coordination. So coordination is in the center of this particular diagram. So that means you need coordination between planning and organizing, you need coordination between organizing and staffing. This is very important, and that is why this principles is also very important, because there should be a proper system to coordinate activities of various departments. Whatever departments you have, whatever organization hierarchy you have, there must be a system, there must be some kind of system existing in the organization that helps them to coordinate with each other. In the absence of coordination, what will happen? There is a complete possibility of conflict among departments. And then what happens? The departments stop sharing resources. Now this could be one of the biggest problems which we can face. When the departments start protecting their resources, not willing to share their resources, that becomes a huge problem for organization. Even the coordination, if there is a proper coordination, duplication and redundancy can be reduced. This is very important. That means duplication means अगर एक ही काम आप बार कर रहे हैं तो वो भी यहाँ पर आपको घटाने में आसानी होगी. Redundancy means कि आप similar kind of job आपको देखने को मिल रही है, बार सेम तरह के काम हो रहा है, तो आप कहीं ना कहीं वो आपका टाइम को वेस्ट करता है. तो that time wastage can be saved with the help of principle of coordination. Let's come to the fourth one, and that is called authority and responsibility. That's the fourth principle. Now we know that authority flows from downwards in the line. That means in the hierarchy, responsibilities goes up and authority comes down. That means the person who is sitting at the topmost management is having the maximum responsibility of the organization. Every individual is given an authority to get the work done. हर इंडिविजुअल जो भी किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहा है उसको ये पावर दी जाती है, उसको ये अथॉरिटी दी जाती है ताकि वो अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम को करवा सके. किससे? लोगों से जो उसके नीचे काम कर रहे हैं. बट वो इस अथॉरिटी को डेलीगेट भी कर सकता है. वो अपने बिहाफ पे ही कैन आस्क समवन to sit in his position and get the work done. ये completely possible है. मान लो मैं छुट्टी पे जा रहा हूँ, I'm not well, तो मेरी जगह कोई और उस पोजीशन को ले सकता है, उस चार्ज को ले सकता है और वो लोगों से काम ले सकता है मेरे बिहाफ पे. That means can be delegated. If a superior delegates his authority to his subordinate, the superior is not absolved of his responsibility. अब यहां पर ये पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि अगर आपने अपनी अथॉरिटी डेलीगेट भी कर दी बट आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या कम हो गई? नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. अगर उस पर्सन से कोई भी गलती होगी तो उसके लिए आप भी उतने ही अकाउंटेबल है जितना कि वो पर्सन अकाउंटेबल है. सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम किसको अपनी पोजीशन पर दे रहे हैं, बिकॉज अकाउंटेबिलिटी चाहे आप डेलीगेट कर सकते हो, अथॉरिटी को आप डेलीगेट कर सकते हो, बट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपकी कभी अब्सॉर्व नहीं होती, वो उतने की उतने ही बनी रहती है. Let's come to the fifth principle, and that is called principle of balance. Now, what is balance over here? The principle means that the assignment of work should such that every person should given only that much work which he can perform well. Remember one thing, you can have people in your organization who are either overworked or they are underworked. And now this is, both conditions create a lot of problem. We need to understand this. If your people are overworked, that also creates a problem because then they will feel stress. They will get burned out. On the other side, if they are underworked, that means they are not performing to their own potential. So it is very important that you create a balance in your organization. There must be a balance that everybody should get equal amount of work so that they can perform to their potential level. The work should be divided in such a way that everybody should be able to give his maximum output. As I just told you that the work should be divided in such a way that nobody is overworked and nobody is underworked. And that is what balance is all about. Next, called the next principle, and that is called principle of continuity. So what is continuity over here is that organization work in a dynamic environment and every day there is a new change. There is a new challenge. We all know that business organizations do not work in vacuum, right? They work in a dynamic environment. That means there is every day there is a new change, either in competitive forces, either in the government laws, either in the customer preferences, and that is why you need to face those challenges. And that is why we say that organization is a continuous concern, because we must learn how to adapt those changing situations. Because the situation will change, but we need to adapt to those situations with time to time. The organization should not be rigid in their approach, as there must be a possibility of making necessary adjustment in the different circumstances. That is where the continuity comes in. That means organization can't be rigid with their rules, that what we believe is what we believe. That theory doesn't work in organization. Whatever you believe today, that belief may change tomorrow, because the situation will change and you need to adapt to the situation based on the learnings which you have learned from your past experiences. Let's come to the next one, and that is called principle of uniformity. So what is uniformity over here? That organization must provide for the distribution of work in such a manner that uniformity is maintained. That means very much related to balance. Balance means there must be uniformity in assignment of tasks. So if A, B and C, there are 3 persons working in the organization at the same level. A should get the same kind of job, B should get the same amount of job, C should get the same amount of job. If you are not allocating the job in their uniform manner, then what will happen? That A will either feel the stress or B will not be performing as per their potential. So each officer should be in charge of the respective area so that they avoid duplicacy of the job and conflict. That means when you are allocating A to a position and you are allocating B to another position and C to the another position, they must be allocated in such a way that they must work in their respective area and they should not contradict each other, and they must be accountable and responsible for their own work. Next is called the principle of unity of command. We have already covered in unity of command is very common. We have covered in Henry Fayol theory also. So what is unity of command? The person should be answerable to one boss only. That means if I am working at a particular position, I should know whom to report and from whom I need to take the commands. That's very, very important, because if there are more than one boss, then what will happen? That there is a complete likelihood of confusion and conflict. That means there is one person who is getting order from A also, getting order from B also, and they both are contradictory in nature. That means I am very confused what to do now. I cannot perform A's job because then the B will be angry. If I'm performing the B's job, then A will be angry. And that is where the employee feels the huge confusion. So this should not be there. This is called unity of command. The command should should be from the top to bottom, which from making organization sound and clear. That means whenever there is a command, it must come from top to down so that it is loud and clear that what we need to do and how we need to work. That's very important. The next principle is called as the principle of exception. So what is principle of exception? The principle states that the top management should not interfere, should only interfere when something goes wrong. That means if for every small issue, if top management is participating, is interfering, then what will happen? There will be a problem. Why? Because top management will be overworked then. So if the things are not going to add per the plans, that is where we need the interference of the top management. If the things are going as per the plan, why do we need top management? Is the middle management, lower level management, they can solve those issues at their own level. But if the plan is not working, if there is an issue, that's where the top management comes into picture. So why this is important? Because the management should leave routine things to be supervised by the lower cadres. That means the routine things can be easily looked after by the middle level management or by the lower level management. Principle of exceptions allow the top management to concentrate on the planning and policy formulation, and it saves a lot of their time because they can easily avoid all those unnecessary supervision. So top management role is to look at top priorities work, not only looking at the routine jobs which may be looked after by the middle level management. Next is called the principle of simplicity. So what is principle of simplicity? The organization structure should be very simple. That's very, very important. Organization, it's why? Because it should be easily understood to each and every person. Because we know that if the structure is not simple, hierarchy will become complex. And if the hierarchy is complex, then communication becomes more complex. And if the communication is complex, unity of command is more complex now. So all these things are interconnected. So that is why simplicity is very important. The authority responsibility of each and every person should be made clear, and there should be no confusion about these things. That means who is at what position, what is his roles, what is his responsibility, what he can do and what he can't do. Everything should be loud and clear and well drafted. That's very important. And a complex organization structure will create doubts and conflict among people. Obviously, if the structure is not clear, what will happen? It will be complete chaos because of the communication errors and more importantly, hierarchical issues. Next is called as the principle of efficiency. Now, what is efficiency? That means organization should be able to achieve enterprise objective at the minimum cost. Now, cost is one of the most important variable in organization, because if the cost will rise, obviously your profit will decline. So that is the reason why whatever you are doing, you must do it effectively, but you must be very efficient also in terms of cost saving. Because if you are able to save that cost, you will be able to provide that benefit to your stakeholders, to your shareholders, and to the customers. Organization must try to be productive in the limited resources. Every organization has limited resources, and that is why you must use that resources to the optimum level so that your efficiency must rise. The standards of cost and revenue as per predetermined and performed should be according to these goals. That means we always plan for our cost, we always plan for our revenues, we must try to achieve our targets in the allocated cost we have, in the cost we have already allocated. The next principle is called as the principle of span of control. I have made a very detailed video on span of control. I'll attach that in the description box. You can watch that. Span of control means how many subordinates can be supervised by a particular person. That means if I am at this level and at this level there are 16 people, so I am managing basically 16 people. So this is called span of control. So this span of control is very, very important because it can be narrow, it can be wide. The number of subordinates should be such that the supervisor should be able to control them and effectively. It's very important because if I am working at this position, let us suppose I am managing 500 people, obviously I will not be able to manage them because it's a huge number. You need to create multiple hierarchy levels so that at each level they can be supervised at a very efficient manner. If the span of control is disappropriate, then it will bound to affect the efficiency of the workers because of their slow communication in the supervisor. Because if, for example, if I am here and there are 500 people working beyond me, then what will happen? If they will try to contact me, I will not be able to solve their issues, or I cannot manage 500 people. That's beyond my power. So it's very, very important that span of control should be very appropriate so that I can manage the amount of people I can manage very efficiently. So this was all about principles of organization. I hope you understood this particular topic. For downloading this particular PDF, just go to the description box and you will find a link of a video. Just watch that video and download it from Management of Principles and Practices section. That will be called as Principles of Organization. If you like anything, do subscribe, like and share. We'll be meeting in the next lecture very soon.